Parshat Naso begins with the appointment of the Levite families of Gershon and Merari to take care of the Mishkan, the Israelites' portable sanctuary in the desert. While Aaron and his family were given the actual responsibility of taking care of the service itself, we see that these two families specifically were charged with taking care of the structure, the cloth, the equipment, the posts, the socket, the planks, the pegs, the furniture. Sounds exciting, right? You're all ready to sign up to be part of these two clans. I can see it right now. The Gershonites were waiting. They just heard the words quoted from the Bible that they are supposed to take care of specifically the cords thereof, the altar and their service, the equipment and all of their accessories. Wow. I've always wondered, why did God exactly divide up these tasks between these two families specifically? Was there some sort of a connection between the type of work that was supposed to be taken care of, the external care of the Mishkan, and the character of these families? What were they supposed to learn? Were they supposed to teach somebody something? And then the other question I've had often, this is their job? The planks, the pegs, the accoutrements, you might even call them? I don't know, as a parent, when I task my children with taking care of the dishes, setting the table, helping with the laundry, all I get are complaints. And yet we can really understand the profound task that these people were given in the desert. It wasn't just a one-time deal. It wasn't just take care of it for now, it's all set. As we all know from maintaining this building, things break, stuff happens. We have a responsibility and an obligation. And it wasn't as if they had this obligation for the short term. It was ongoing, generational. And then we can feel the weight of this sense of boundless commitment to this very process that these two families undertook. For generations, this tedious task. And now I can hear my children whining, just wanting to go back to their tablets because the tedious task of the dishes is enough for them, let alone the Mishkan for generations. But it's my job as a mom to help them set priorities. Make sure that they know that they have to do their job being the chores in the house, so that they're trained and know that when they become adults, they have work that they have to get done. Yet I think today sometimes we as adults struggle with those very same priorities. Let's give you an example. A friend calls you up and says, hey, I need to go to the doctor. I'm having a procedure done and they're not going to allow me to drive myself home from the procedure. Anyone ever experienced that? Yeah. What do? You call a friend. And what happens? Sometimes a friend is going to say to you, I'm so sorry to hear that. I have work to do. Click. And that's an acceptable answer. Work takes priority over your friendship. Another example. Mommy, they're looking for a parent to come and read in the classroom. Can you be parent for a day? Oh, babe, I'm sorry. I've got work to do. And we see work has somehow taken over the role that you would want a parent to have or somebody to come in. And I'm sure if you were to think about it, we can go on and give examples. Work is becoming an acceptable way to say no. We don't even have to define what the work is. We just say work. It's okay. Historically, though, work was a punishment. The Israelites fought with the Romans for the right to take Shabbat off. The Israelites fought against Pharaoh just to be able to worship in the wilderness and take a break from work. That was their initial request, I'll remind you. It wasn't freedom from slavery, it was a break from their slavery tasks to go and worship. And now, I don't know if you pay attention, but the messaging is, do what you love so that it doesn't feel like work. it still feels like work. I was at a conference this past week, a meeting with the DA in this county, and we were talking about gun violence, which really truly is an epidemic crisis. But for me, what I found to be most startling about the gun violence, yes, but also equally shocking, the DA stood there proudly in front of all of these community leaders, pastors, and others, dictating and saying that she takes care of emails at 3 a.m. in the morning. And everybody's sitting there, what a great idea. I think she forgot about sleep. And then the truth is, when I sit there and think reflexively about my own self, there have been times where I have been guilty of doing that. You can ask Carl and Betty. They may have received an email or two at 3 a.m. in the morning. Or worse yet, I've been inside of Google Doc working on something for the temple also at 3 a.m. in the morning. The truth is that we believe somehow, for some reason, that the busier we are, then the more important we truly are. The more prestigious of a job it really is. My goodness, I was speaking to a colleague who told me that she felt guilty for taking a day off from work because she had to take her child to the doctor. Then she said, oh, but don't worry, at 5 o'clock I got a phone call about a sick congregant, so then I didn't feel quite so bad. We identify so loudly and so much of who we are by what it is that we actually do. When we meet somebody, think about it. What's the first question you ask them outside of how are you? So what do you do? And what do we do with that response? We put them in a box. And we kind of understand, based on what they tell us, are they wealthy? Are they not? What's going on with them? And we kind of decide where they fit in a social hierarchy. And then if we look at them and we see that they're getting texts and emails, we judge them. They must be really important. This way of thinking, I think, in many regards, runs so deep within American subconsciousness. It is the manifestation of the American dream, including manifest destiny, espoused that anybody who works hard can achieve wealth, prosperity, and freedom. Hard work is going to get us there. And so if we really think about it, all the way back to the Puritans who helped establish us, we focus on work. Fast forward to America today from way back then, and we see that work has shifted from jobs to careers to callings. And based on that, we do what we're called to do, then it won't even feel like work we're taught. Just think about it. You can work 60 or 80 hours doing something you love, and it doesn't feel like work at all. And all of a sudden, work becomes not just about having a job, but it's about climbing a social ladder, attaining that sequential, all-important acronym of VP, SVP, MD, PhD, CEO, because that's the most important thing that we all look at. And I hate to say it, we're idol worshipers because our work has become our religion. We're not working with the idea of being, like the Levite families of Gershon and Merari, who were there being for generations. But they had a task, a holy task, take care of the Mishkan. Not work 50 hours to take care of the Mishkan. Take care of the Mishkan, the planks, the coverings, making sure that it was prepared so that we could all worship together as a community. We are working not at taking care of the Mishkan. We are working at paying our bills. We are working at working. The religion of 2022 is work. This is our focus. When you sit down, I don't know if you've ever done this and looked on TikTok or Instagram, and you'll notice people will post all the side hacks and side jobs you can get when you're not working, in case you were curious what to do with your free time. You can earn more money and work more. My goodness. The funny thing is that when you think about it, what happens when you're unemployed? We're equally uncomfortable. Some people even hate sitting alone without doing anything, and then they scramble to get back into work. But I don't think work was ever really meant to be a god. It was never meant to replace the living a good life. It was never intended to be an opportunity to ignore personal development. It was never supposed to take the place of the needs of the community. We kind of forgot what Hillel taught us. Hillel being a sage also from so long ago, when he said, if I am not for myself, who is for me? When I am only for myself, what am I? If not now, when? And after deep thought, I think the tasks were divided up amongst those two families so as not to overwhelm one family. It was to create a shared responsibility so that everybody was involved in the community. There was shared ownership and a shared connection with God. There was a balance held by the people who had the sacred task of maintaining the Mishkan. They would work in the fields, they would maintain the Mishkan, they would support the community, and they would be present with their families. Well, at least I think that was the intention at the time that the commandment was given. And maybe we kind of need to reframe how we too think of work today. Instead of lauding and over the rampant overworked hours in our society, instead of focusing on the obsession of vocational alignment with our inner beings as a calling, instead of focusing on how if we work harder and harder, maybe we can somehow avoid the burnout, maybe we should just focus on being in community, being in balance, being in concert with one another. The value everyone has by giving an opportunity for everyone to contribute. The Cleveland Clinic talks on their website about the importance of taking a break to improve your mood, boost your performance, increase your ability to concentrate, and even pay attention. They value taking a break. That working constantly also means that we're no longer really present and able to do what we love, to enjoy our families. And we might even have to learn to be a little bit uncomfortable and find new comfort in being alone again. May this portion offer a moment to remind us to take a little bit of balance in our lives. Otherwise, I think the new meme for 2022 will be, find your calling, do what you love, hustle harder, and love what you do. Shabbat Shalom.